at that, just shooting back and forth.
Mira, vámonos,
That
vámonos,
is
vámonos,
crazy.
Celito.
Look at this.
Let's go.
Mira que llama Alfredo, he's playing your phone. Oh my God, they're all shooting back and forth.
Vámonos, let's go. No, go this way. Let's go home.
Oh my God.
They won't let you out of the area.
Basically, everybody just went down to the ground, and we were just looking at the floor. I remember I had someone over me, and then that person got up to run, and I just followed. I don't know who that person was. I was by myself. When I noticed that people were screaming, and when that brief moment with no shooting happened, we just went out the back door.
So you weren't told to escape, you've just found an opportunity and got out as quickly as you could?
All I remember was screaming, and people were scared. I could hear people saying that they were scared, and other people saying, like, let's run out. So we just ran out.
Investigating what they call a mass casualty situation at Pulse Orlando, a nightclub there in the heart of the city. It happened about 5 hours ago. You're looking at video that came in from Facebook as police fired shots in the direction of that nightclub, engaging, we expect, with someone there in that direction. Our law enforcement analysts tell us they likely had a target. We know from police that the shooter inside the nightclub is dead. Now, we do not know if that is the only shooter. We're waiting for a news conference that's scheduled to start at any moment. We know that as soon as this happened, there was a tweet that came out from the nightclub, or rather a posting on their Facebook page that said, everyone run from Pulse and keep running. Get out of Pulse and keep running. Here's that post from Facebook. And you know, we're waiting for this news conference here to report it, but so are the family members, the loved ones, those who were in the club and left possibly friends there, or who got a call and they don't know where their loved one is because there's been no real update on the number of those shot, of those killed. We know it's mass casualty, and where those people are.
We heard from one mother who said she got a call from her daughter and her daughter's friend that said, please come get us. There's shooting. There's been a shooting, and then that her daughter or one of the girls told her that she had been shot in the arm. And when you hear something like that as a parent, as a family member, you want to go straight to the club. You can't, because obviously they've cordoned it off. So you go to the hospital. There are 3 nearby hospitals: Orlando Regional Medical Center, Arnold Palmer Hospital, Winnie Palmer Hospital, all of which were on lockdown at one point. We've heard the descriptions of the gurneys that even at this hour are still outside those hospitals, that some doctors have been outside the hospitals. So it gives you a real sense of the desperation and the chaos, not just around the scene of this incident, but at the scene of these hospitals where we've got these medical officials desperately trying to treat the people who have been hurt. Again, when we talk about mass casualty, we do not know how many people we're talking about. And that's what we're waiting to hear.
Police now releasing more information about the man who struck an Orlando nightclub earlier this morning. 7's Elisa Bezios joins us live from the Satellite Center with the latest details.
Omar, we are now learning Omar Mateen from St. Lucia. That is who the shooter is. If we can go to live pictures out of Orlando, you can see the investigation going on right now. As you'll remember, 20 people, at least 20 people are dead, more than 40 injured. We are now learning that gunman, his name, Omar Mateen from St. Lucia. Those shots rang out around 2 o'clock this morning at Pulse, a popular LBGT nightclub in Orlando. We're talking about 320 people, a packed nightclub in there. People just looking to have a good time. Then this shooting breaks out, this mass shooting. An off-duty officer working at the club That officer was the first one to respond to other officers shooting also at the gunman who's been identified as Omar Mateen. Then this whole situation turning into hostage situation. You had people calling from bathrooms that had barricaded themselves in there. People sending text messages to their loved ones saying, "I love you," thinking they were going to be killed. Imagine being in this situation. If we can go to video so you can see what things looked like early this morning around 2 o'clock, just total chaos breaking out over there. We have local, federal, state authorities all there working on this investigation. Now, the FBI says they do believe that the gunman, Omar Mateen, could be connected to radical Islamic terrorism. They are investigating that, and that's why this has now been classified as a terror incident. They're working to figure out, is it domestic? Is it international? We are hoping to learn that around 10:15 when that news conference is going to happen. But a very important thing to point out right now, no threat to Florida, no threat to other cities in the United States. The president, he has been briefed, and he has said any help that these investigators need, any federal help, to give it to them. We'll be here, we're following this, and bring you the latest when we get it. Again, that shooter identified as Omar Mateen, taking the lives of at least 20 people. For now, we're live in the Satellite Center. Elita Bezios, Today in Florida.
I'm here today to stand as a faith leader with our law enforcement community and our city leadership in this hour of horror on this Sunday morning. It's supposed to be a beautiful morning, but it is already a very heartbreaking morning. It's a horrible tragedy. We are mourning, we are sad, we are heartbroken, and we hope this would be the last of the mass shootings that our country has been going through. I think as a nation we need to look at this issue of mass shootings because we just had one too many today. And I think we should do something about it to stop the mass shootings that are happening all the time. Thank you.
Updated on that. But the next law enforcement.
It's been very hectic. We knew immediately that we had mass casualties coming. We knew at least 20 to start. So 3 of us immediately came in. We have one trauma surgeon that's in-house around the clock. So he called myself and one other surgeon in. Once we realized how many victims we had, we then went ahead and called in another 3 surgeons and opened up 6 operating rooms on top of the 2 that we normally run at night to be able to operate on the victims. All over, the vast majority of the gunshot wounds were to the chest, the abdomen, and the extremities. We see quite a few gunshot wounds, but nothing to this scale. The decision to lock down we made in our command post, our incident command center, it was to make sure that we could protect the patients and our staff, because we did not initially know how many shooters there were or whether the shooter had been taken care of. It's unfortunately we live in a world right now where there are many people that don't value human life, which is a shame, and we see many events like this. So I think, as has already been mentioned by the imam, I think it raises the question of whether we need to seriously consider why these events are still occurring.
Williams, he's joining us from Washington with some new breaking details. Pete, what you got?
Thank you, Alex. And our good friend Congressman Keane may already have been told this and is always very careful not to reveal classified information. But we're now told by several law enforcement officials that just before this shooting happened, Mateen, the man that the police say was the gunman, called a 911 phone number in Florida, and once the operator answered, swore his allegiance to al-Baghdadi, the head of ISIS. That obviously puts a sort of a slightly different light on this investigation, although authorities say they're still trying to figure out whether this was a hate crime, whether it was an act of terrorism, or 2 things put together. What we're told is we've been hearing all morning that he had initially come to the attention of the FBI in 2013, and now we're told that the reason that they were looking at him initially is because of some statements he had made, some sort of spouting off statements that he had made about radical Islamic propaganda. But of course, people say these things all the time on social media. The FBI looked at him, determined that there was nothing really to be done, no follow-up to be done, and they dropped him but kept his name on the list. And that's why in the initial news conference this morning at 7 o'clock, the FBI was able to say that there was potentially some Islamic terror connection. Now, the officials have said they don't see any connection with terrorists overseas. In other words, they found no evidence so far of communications from overseas terrorists with him. In other words, they don't believe this was directed from overseas. But also adding to this is his ex-wife has given an interview to the Washington Post. Now, we've been reporting all along that his father has said that he believes that his son was motivated to do this by anti-gay hatred. But his ex-wife has given an interview to the Washington Post. We knew that Mateen was divorced, and she said that he was violent and mentally unstable and beat her repeatedly when they were married. She says she met him online about 8 years ago, moved to Florida to marry him, that their marriage was normal at first, but then he became abusive, and she said he is not a stable person. And law enforcement officials we've talked to paint a similar picture of him, that he was a person who had this habit of sort of spouting off about things. But still, what caused him to do this shooting at this place at this time is a question they're still trying to answer.
Today, as Americans, we grieve the brutal murder, a horrific massacre of dozens of innocent people. We pray for their families who are grasping for answers with broken hearts. We stand with the people of Orlando who have endured a terrible attack on their city. Although it's still early in the investigation, we know enough to say that this was an act of terror and an act of hate. And as Americans, we are united in grief, in outrage, and in resolve to defend our people. I just finished a meeting with FBI Director Comey and my Homeland Security and National Security advisors. The FBI is on the scene and leading the investigation in partnership with local law enforcement. I've directed that the full resources of the federal government be made available for this investigation. We are still learning all the facts. This is an open investigation. We've reached no definitive judgment on the precise motivations of the killer. The FBI is appropriately investigating this as an act of terrorism, and I've directed that we must spare no effort to determine what, if any, inspiration or association this killer may have had with terrorist groups. What is clear is that he was a person filled with hatred. Over the coming days, we will uncover why and how this happened, and we will go wherever the facts lead us. This morning I spoke with my good friend Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer, and I conveyed to him the deepest condolences of the American people. This could have been any one of our communities. So I told Mayor Dyer that whatever help he and the people of Orlando need, they are going to get it. As a country, we will be there for the people of Orlando today, tomorrow, and for all the days to come. We also express our profound gratitude to all the police and first responders who rushed to harm's way. Their courage and professionalism saved lives and kept the carnage from being even worse. It's the kind of sacrifice that our law enforcement professionals make every single day for all of us, and we can never thank them enough. This is an especially heartbreaking day for all of our friends, our fellow Americans who are lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender. The shooter targeted a nightclub where people came together to be with friends, to dance and to sing, and to live. The place where they were attacked is more than a nightclub. It is a place of solidarity and empowerment where people have come together to raise awareness, to speak their minds, and to advocate for their civil rights. So this is a sobering reminder that attacks on any American, regardless of race, ethnicity, religion, or sexual orientation, is an attack on all of us and on the fundamental values of equality and dignity that define us as a country. And no act of hate or terror will ever change who we are or the values that make us Americans. Today marks the most deadly shooting in American history. The shooter was apparently armed with a handgun and a powerful assault rifle. This massacre is therefore a further reminder of how easy it is for someone to get their hands on a weapon that lets them shoot people in a school or in a house of worship or a movie theater or in a nightclub. And we have to decide if that's the kind of country we want to be. And to actively do nothing is a decision as well. In the coming hours and days, we'll learn about the victims of this tragedy. Their names, their faces, who they were, the joy that they brought to families and to friends, and the difference that they made in this world. Say a prayer for them, and say a prayer for their families. That God give them the strength to bear the unbearable, and that He give us all the strength to be there for them and the strength and courage to change. We need to demonstrate that we are defined more as a country by the way they live their lives than by the hate of the man who took them from us. As we go together, we will draw inspiration from heroic and selfless acts. Friends who helped friends, took care of each other, and saved lives. In the face of hate and violence, we will love one another. We will not give in to fear or turn against each other. Instead, we will stand united as Americans to protect our people and defend our nation and to take action against those who threaten us. May God bless the Americans we lost this morning. May He comfort their families. May God continue to watch over this country that we love. Thank you.
I just don't know exactly what I'm supposed to do here, but I'm living still and without fear. I just don't know what your will is for me, oh Lord, but I know what you don't want.